is Tashina and I am a homeschooling mama to 3 girls. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 7 different ways that you can schedule your homeschool year to suit your family's needs. Okay, number 1, which is the most obvious, is the public school year schedule. This one is already laid out for you, so I feel like if you're newer maybe to homeschooling, or you just want one less thing off your plate, this is a great schedule to follow. They already have to meet the state requirements. So they already know the days that they have to complete, which is usually 180 days, 36 weeks, something around there. So they already have all of that mapped out for you, plus all of the breaks and the long summer. So this really can be a great option. Like I said, for those beginning, it's what I did in the beginning, just to kind of alleviate some of the stress of all of the things that I needed to do. I just stayed with the public school system schedule. My oldest daughter, who is a freshman in high school, she actually attended a public school until her 4th grade year. So for us, we were already kind of used to it. So I just stuck with that, and it worked out fine for the first year. It was something that I could do until I got more comfortable with homeschooling and just kind of getting a flow of how things were going to go in our day-to-day. And then that next year I decided to break free from that and kind of do my own thing. The pro to that is that it's mapped out for you. You don't have to do any work. You can just go to your district's public school system and print off a calendar and follow that. Like I said, it's got all those breaks and that nice big summer already blocked off for you. Some of the cons to that is that usually a lot of people are following that same schedule. So if you're a person who likes to travel or to go and do like fun things like the zoo or any type of like field trip, like Discovery Museum, like things like that, on your time off, usually the rest of the world is doing it at the same time. So you tend to have like the longer lines. And if you are traveling, bigger trips, things like that, usually it's more expensive because everybody has that time off, and it's peak season. So that's something to keep in mind as well if you do like to travel. But again, it could be a great option to just help alleviate one thing off of your list. Number 2 is the 6 weeks on and 1 week off. So essentially you're doing 6 weeks of school and then you're going to take an entire week off. So you'll have to play around with a calendar for this one, and I have one here that I have made. So I've made this, and I will have this linked below so that you guys can print this off and just begin kind of playing around with this type of a schedule. So this is going to give you 6 weeks of doing school, 1 week off, 6 weeks of doing school, 1 week off. So again, this is following like that 36 weeks school calendar, which is typically what it is, but again, check with your state. So this would give you 5 weeks off during the school year, and you would still have 11 weeks of a summer vacation. So again, I just recommend getting a pencil and a calendar like this, and like I said, I'll have this below, and just start mapping out those weeks. I did this with a few different options to see kind of where our breaks would fall and if I liked where they fell. So again, you'll have to play around with these options. If you started at the beginning of August, you would be ending school around May with this option. Option number 3 is to do 4 weeks on and 1 week off. So this option is the option that my family decided to use for this upcoming school year. So this is going to give you 8 weeks off during the school year, and you're still going to get 8 weeks of a summer break. So a little bit shorter of a summer break, which I don't mind. I always kind of thought with like the traditional public school system that the breaks in the summer were just too long, and that my kids really were affected by what they call that summer slide. So where they lose a lot of that information and kind of have to recap on that starting the school year to kind of refresh their memories. So I do like this option a lot. So again, 4 weeks on, 1 week off, and it will give you 8 weeks off during the school year and 8 weeks in the summer. I'm going to look over here at my notes. So I have down that if I start in early August, we will be going to June with this type of a schedule. When I used my calendar and I just really started mapping that off and what that looked like that's still giving me a whole week of Thanksgiving off. It's giving me the whole week of like Christmas off, a nice spring break, like everything kind of lined up the way I wanted it to with this one. So I really liked this schedule, and I think it's going to work out good. But again, every year I haven't stuck to the same schedule. Things are going to change, which is why I want to bring you those 7 options. Doesn't mean that you have to stick with it every year. You have the freedom to change it. Okay, option number 4, so kind of following along that same line, but you would do school for 3 weeks on and 1 week off. Now, this is going to give you a shorter summer. So with this option, you would get 11 weeks off during the school year and 5 weeks off for a summer break. So you'll have more time off during the year and less of a summer break. I could see where this one would be nice too. Where we live, our summers get really, really hot. So I feel like we have that sweet space, that May, early June month, but by the time we get to like July and August, we're in the hundreds, and most of the time, if you're not out in the morning doing an activity, you don't want to be out in the afternoon. So a lot of things can play into this, like where you live, and if you want to spend more time in other months being outside. So there's a lot of factors to consider when you're mapping this out. And like I said, use the calendar to just map out several different options and ultimately see which one that you want to go with. So if you started in early August with this option, you would not be done until the end of June. Okay, we are at number 5. So number 5 is the 4 days a week, and you have 3-day weekends every single week. But with this option, instead of doing 36 weeks of school, which is typically standard, you would have to do 45 weeks. So 4 days a week, 3-day weekend every single week. That might be a really great option for some of you, might sound really appealing. And also with this option, you would get a 6-week summer break. So it still kind of cuts down a little bit on that summer break, but again, you have a 3-day weekend. So that's another option that you can look into. Okay, we are on number 6. So number 6 is you could do 3 12-week semester blocks. So if you did this, you would get 5 weeks off in between each semester. So this could be another really great option. So you would do school for 12 weeks and then have 5 weeks off. School for 12 weeks, have 5 weeks off, and one more. School for 12 weeks and 5 weeks off, and then it just starts over again. So I have, if you started in September, then this would give you, you would have your 5-week break kind of at the end of November, which would be right around Thanksgiving, and that would carry you all the way through to the end of December. So that's a pretty nice holiday break there. And then you would do another 12 weeks, and then your next 5-week break would be around spring break. So I have that one, it would be end of March, and it would go through April. So like towards the end of April for another nice break. And then you would do your last semester. So you would be doing school for another 12 weeks. So I have it, if you did school until the middle of July for your 3rd week, your 5-week break would go through August for a nice summer break. And then you would start it again in September. So I kind of like this one too. I like that 12 weeks, 5 weeks off, and I like kind of how they fall, giving you those nice long breaks. I was really kind of leaning towards this one also, but I don't think my middle daughter would appreciate doing school for 12 weeks. She definitely needs more breaks kind of in between. Maybe when they get older we can do something like this. I don't think my high schooler would mind to have that 5-week stint off every few weeks after that. I think it would be fine, but I don't think it's going to work for us in this particular season of life. All right, number 7, which is the final option, is year-round schooling. So year-round schooling, I know a lot of people do, and there's so much freedom in this option. So if taking on this type of a schedule is, I've got this, I know what I'm doing, then fully have at it. All you have to make sure that you're getting done and accomplished is like the 180 days, 36 weeks of school. That's for my state specifically. Again, check with yours, but you just need to make sure that you're hitting those blocks of time that you need to have done per your state. And really there's just so much freedom in that, so much flexibility. Now that I have given you these 7 options, I want to know from you which one you guys are going to choose. One of the things I love so much about homeschooling is that we do have so much freedom, and even though all 7 options, they're great options, but we do still have freedom with that. Things are going to come up, things are going to happen, and we can pivot if we need to. That is just beautiful to me, that we have that flexibility and we can just customize to our children's needs, because ultimately that's what we're here for. I hope that this video really helped you and I broke it down enough for you to just kind of understand. Again, don't forget to look at the calendar and print that off so that you can pencil that out and see which one is going to work best for you. Again, you know your schedule best, you know your upcoming plans, maybe you have vacations and trips that you already know that your family is going to be taken. Take all of that into consideration, and I really do think that you can get your best homeschool year with one of these 7 schedules. Also, once you have your calendar printed, I usually take this, and this is my favorite homeschool planner. This is for our current year, so I will have to get their new one, but this is my favorite planner for homeschooling. It's simple, it's not overcomplicated, and it is very budget friendly, around $20. But I like to stick a copy of this in here too, and there's plenty of calendars that you can mark as well, but I always do like to have that and I'll have that linked below as well. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them for me below. I would love to hear from you. I would love to know which schedule you are choosing for this year. See you in the next video. Bye.
I feel like I've been